I have a question for you.
Yo.
So, okay, just a second ago, did you say you worked with Babyface?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so now I got to pick your brain.
Uh-oh.
Now, Babyface, because, I mean, first of all, there's like two different spectrums here when you start talking about Dre.
Right.
And you talk about Babyface. And Mr. Face, like, I know his mind has to be just like bananas to me, because I think about from the music he created from like in the 90s. Like, to me, I don't care what nobody says, the 90s music was just, it was smashing, okay?
Well, he's the guy that wrote the 90s.
Huh?
He and Teddy Riley wrote the 90s.
Exactly. I mean, so
Yes.
to me, I'm kind of at awe with you, the fact that you were with someone that I truly admired as a writer. Not so much as a, performer. I mean, don't get me wrong, he can sing, beautiful voice, but I love the way his lyrical content, the stories that he would tell. Yeah. And some people, it just went over their head because they were just fascinated at the fact that's Babyface and he could sing draws off. Right. But I'm like, the concept.
He was singing draws off about not being able to get draws off. That was the
exactly. That is exactly my point. So, I mean, to sit next to someone like that, like, how did that dance happen? You know what I'm saying? Like, how did the creative flow happen between you and him?
Okay. It's funny because, even like when I do my songwriting class, I always say that, writing is not as important as co-writing as far as learning is concerned, because you are never going to get anywhere by yourself. You're muted. I don't know if you know that, but I went to,
there you go.
I went to well, when I did my songwriting class, I talked about the fact that I'm a 100%er, right? So 100%er is somebody who does everything necessary to make a record happen. Like, I can go in a room by myself with equipment and come out with the song written, mixed, performed, every instrument played, hit record, right?
Right.
But I'm not a 100%er so that I can do 100% on every record. I'm a 100%er so that no matter what gap is in the room, I can fill it.
Okay. That makes sense.
So that's the way to think of yourself when you have multiple skills and do things, is because I am valuable in any musical situation.
Right.
So whatever's missing in your room, you can call me.
Okay.
But the fact that I'm writing with other people is the reason why anything will happen, because I came here fresh off the banana boat with a guitar and a suitcase in 2005, right?
Right.
So I knew nobody at all. Everything that I've done of significance in the music industry has been within the last 12 years.
Wow.
So, and in 2008, I had the biggest record in the world, which was No Air, Jordan Sparks and Chris Brown.
Right. Which I love that song, by the way, BT Dub.
What was that?
I said, I love that song, by the way, BT Dub.
Thank you very much.
I really do. Appreciate that.
So yeah, that was my Grammy nomination only 3 years after coming to California.
Wow.
And Song of the Year award, and #1 in 13 countries, in the top 5 on the Hot 100 for 27 weeks.
That's dope.
So that was my second placement.
Wow. Well, I mean, seriously, like that's just the pure artistry of just knowing and honing your craft. You know what I'm saying? And having that kind of fight or flight syndrome. Like, this is how you got. So you're gonna give everything that.
I only had half of that. I only had fight syndrome. Okay. Because flight.
No, I said fly. Fight.
Well, I know, but fight or flight means either you run or you fight, right? I had no run, so for me, I took a one-way flight. I didn't get a return ticket. Like, that was it. I never planned to come back.
That's what's up.
So when I got here, it was I know I have the patience, the faith, the perseverance, the skill. Realize I said skill fourth.
Right. I noticed that.
Talent fifth. Right? I had the faith, the patience, the perseverance, the people skills, the talent, and the skill. Right? I would put it in about that order.
Right.
To make it happen. So I used all those things. And when I came out here, I was just a guitarist. Nobody knew me as anything else. And I had played guitar for, I think, 6 years at the time. But I was the new guitarist in town. Like, I came here and played everywhere I could play my Strat. Because guitars are portable. You can take them on planes very easily, and you can take them to gigs on your back. Okay, This is not something you can do with an 88 key motif. Okay, so I was a guitar. I never told nobody I played piano, and keys is my primary instrument. So when people did find out, they were like, "You play keys too?" I was like, "I play guitar too."
I mean, because you hear that term all the time when they say, you know, I can be the jack of all trades, but the master of none.
Yes.
So I totally understand that. And that makes, you know, perfect sense when you say, hey, yeah, you want this, but I can do this too. And they're just like, whoa, wait a minute. Didn't see that coming.
But I want to speak to that because it's important how you reveal those things. Mm-hmm. See, when you're driven by ego, you won't do it right.
Right.
Because your goal is to look cool, right? So since your goal is to look cool, you're going to reveal stuff not non-strategically, right? You're going to reveal everything you can reveal because look at me, I can do this and that and that and that and that and that. I kept it super simple. Why? Because in a conversation, if somebody says, yo, you know that new guy, Eric, that just came to town that plays keys? I need another person to say yes and be talking about the same person. Right. If somebody else says, yeah, I know a new guy that plays guitar, they'd be like, oh, maybe we're not talking about the same person, right? So I have not consolidated my influence.
Right.
People can be like, nah, he plays keys. No. The one I know plays guitar. No, the one I play sings. The one I know sings. The one I know does this. Nah, he's a producer. And you dilute your networking. Until everybody realizes that they're talking about the same person, you've diluted your influence. So when I come as a guitarist and everybody who would have known me as everything else also knows me as a guitarist. So those people still see me.
Right.
But every time they say that new Eric dude that came and plays guitar, they know they're talking about the same person. So when they bring me into the studio, that's when I reveal that I do other things because whatever becomes necessary as I do what I do that brought me in. I can say now, yeah, I do that too. You're like, what? So then they expect, if you play guitar like that, there's no way you play keys like that. But we'll see, right?
Right.
That's actually my primary instrument. And they're like, what? So then I end up singing some backgrounds. I end up writing or some stuff like that. And it's also how you reveal it when you're dealing with a place like LA, and as political as it is, and it's not really built on talent. LA is built on make-believe.
Explain that to me.
Well, LA is the entertainment capital of the world.
Right.
Entertainment is an illusion. That's what entertainment is.
Right.
Without an illusion, you have no entertainment, right? So this person is so amazing that I should pay to see them. What?
Right.
Just think about that. They're elevated on a stage. There's probably, I don't know, hundreds of people in this audience who can out-rap that guy, who can out-sing that guy, who can out-write that guy. But he's the one up there, so we all paid to see him because we feel like he's elevated above the general public, which is completely an illusion because we're all the same.
Right.
As far as that echelon of human being is concerned, right?
Correct.
So we have to create an illusion or we can't entertain.
Right, just like how actors do it, you know what I'm saying?
That is like true distilled actual make-believe. Like, and that's the movie business is really what started this whole thing, showbiz, right? Mm-hmm. So movies are about making something up that's not real life and showing it to people. That's
right, exactly.
So people are surprised, like, why are these people so LA? Bro, this is the land of make-believe. That's what this is. Yeah. It's like, don't jump in the ocean and expect to swim with goldfish.
Right.
You didn't jump into fresh water. You didn't jump into a bowl. If you want to do that, jump into a fish bowl. But you jumped into the ocean. It's going to be some sharks out here.
Exactly.
And you can't blame the sharks for being sharks. And you're going to need the sharks to get where you're going. So how are you harmless and don't get eaten at the same time? That is the art of making it in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Right? It's not about your talent to a certain degree, because the opportunity doesn't exist for someone who's untalented in a certain area. Right? In a certain level of the industry, everybody's talented. Dre is not picking from talented and untalented people. He's picking among the talented to find who he wants. So being talented is square one. That's zero. That just means you're not in the negative.
Okay.
But what gets you the gig? Well, he has to be able to spend 12 hours on end with you and not want to die. That's important.
Right.
You have to bring a certain energy to the room that makes him want to work when he's tired.
Right.
You know?
That makes sense.
I think one of the things that helps me out a lot is because I'm known as a comedian, and everybody's always laughing when I'm around. So I make it a fun environment in the studio.
And it should be that way. I mean, if it's like of course, I mean, you lose your creative energy. It's just extortion. You know what I'm saying? Like it just goes. But if you have that one person who can keep you laughing and keep you engaged and keep that creative buzz going, of course, that is somebody you will want to, associate yourself with, because you're not going to get tired. If anything, you'll get more inspired to keep going, and then you don't realize that hours have passed. So when you're in soda with somebody that just gets on your nerves, then you're like, okay, what time is it?
No way. There's no way. That's just not way. When you have $1 billion, you don't hang out with people like that. That's pretty much the rule. Right. When you have $1 billion, you don't do that.
Exactly.
I feel like when you have $500 million, you don't do that. But I met him at $1 billion, so I don't know. But
if you're humble enough, you have $50 in your pocket.
Babyface is the same thing. Baby. Yeah, I'm just thinking from the studio, man. Like it's but we get work done.
Right.
And we don't know how at the end of the process. That's when the best work is done.
Okay.
Like, we don't know how that happened. Like, we just remember going into the studio, having fun, laughing a hell of a lot, and leaving. But at the end of the session, he's like, yo, run back everything we did tonight. And these crazy tracks come out, and we're like, when did we even do that? Like, there's some things that happen. I was like, when did I play that? I don't even remember playing that. But which is really good when you're working with somebody honest, because you could not on some stuff because you don't remember playing it.
Right.
But it's always fun. It's always fun in the studio with Dre. It's always fun in the studio with Babyface. It's always fun in the studio with Teddy Riley. It's those are the environments where great things happen. Mm-hmm. But in order for that to be the case, I'm back to the fact that you really can't have a bunch of egos in the room. Like, you can't have a bunch of strong egos. Like, Dre and I both have very strong personalities, and like, we'll argue about stuff in the studio. Like, no, dude, I'm not playing that. Mm-hmm. But even that is funny, because people be like, this nigga's arguing with Dre. You know what I'm saying? Say, what? What did he just? Damn.
Like, is he serious right now?
It was like, is he gonna be here tomorrow? I'm just trying. If he's not, I understand. But I'll be like, Dre, I can't do that. That's gonna clash with the other thing, man. Like, we gotta think of something else. So he's like, okay, well, shit, man, I don't sing. And he'll be like, well, do that. But he'll come up with some of the dopest melodies ever, though. Like, did you just? Okay. And I'll just play that because it was super dope. And I don't even understand how you just where did that come from? Like, you don't know what you just did, but it's what I'm saying? I just play it. And it's something, and I know that a lot of things that I do when I'm with him, I would never have done had he not been in the room. So I'm not just playing instruments, I am an instrument.
Right.
But every good leader is a good follower. Mm-hmm. So you know, I could.
Oh my God, I'm glad you said that, because I say that all the time and people be thinking I'm crazy. And I'm like, man, you gotta follow somebody in order for you to lead someone.
Yeah, you can't.
You have to, because if you don't follow somebody, then who are you leading?
Yeah. You have to know what it is to follow somebody, to understand the psychology of how to lead them.
Yes, indeed.
That's really what it is. It's the psychology of it. And that's one of the reasons that, you know, people like to cut vocals with me, right? Mm-hmm. Because when I'm producing vocals, I am leading you in a way that you have to feel, that they care about what you sound like, first of all, to the point where you would defer at your own idea to see what they have to say, just to see what it sounds like when they do what they do. There has to be a certain amount of respect there in order to defer.
Right.
You know, I did a remix of Rhythm of the Night, and L is on it. Like, I cut L, DeBarge, on the song in my studio, and DeBarge is like, man, just push me, man. He's like, push me, man. I get lazy in the studio, man. Push me. And I'm like, bro, I'm never gonna let you leave here sounding crazy. like you ain't got to worry about none of that.
Right.
So, you know, and he is the most humble guy too. Like, all these people that I'm mentioning are some of the most humble people that I've ever met, and some of the most successful and some of the most talented. Babyface is, you would never think that dude has 126 top 10 records.